Hey friend, this is episode number 507 of the And So podcast with Taylor Bradford. Let's get to it. Boss Girl Creative presents And So with Taylor Bradford, business and life musings from a successful serial entrepreneur. Each week, you will hear Taylor spill the tea on all things business, life, relationships, health, and everything in between. But don't worry, each week also includes a business nugget that will help you stay on course. And now a throwback to 3-year-old Taylor who inspired all of this.
And so, what is it?
Hello. Welcome to episode number 507. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got some things to talk about, including trial reels. Have you heard about them? Have you heard about the trial reels over on Instagram? We're going to be talking about that. That's this week's nugget, is all about trial reels. Let's roll through the topics, but before we do that, friendly reminder, I would love to celebrate your recent wins with you. If you will share them with me, you can do so through Instagram at Boss Girl Creative or through my email, taylor@bossgirlcreative.com. I would love to share your recent wins. I would love to celebrate with you your recent wins, but you got to share them with me. So yeah, get to doing that. Hit pause, come share a recent win. And I want to cheer you on, celebrate with you, because I don't think we do a really good job of doing that. So I would love to do that with you. Okay, so let's talk about the things that's been going on in my world lately. So I'm like in the thick of garden planning, seeds starting. Like I legit started 50 sunflower seeds, and not like the typical sunflowers that you see in the grocery store or even on the side of the road. These are specialty beauties. And so I started 50 sunflower seeds tonight, and I started 72 zinnias and a 50 cell tray of dahlias, and I have 17 dahlia tubers arriving sometime in April. I'm really excited about that. And then I potted up a couple more of my marigolds, and I believe tomorrow I am going to separate my tomato plants. So I have 2 tomato plants per pot right now in probably about 12. And I need to separate them out because they have really deep root systems, and I don't need them tangling too much more with themselves. So I need to basically repot them, but like pot them singly. And I've got some okra seeds soaking right now overnight, and I will get those potted up tomorrow. And then I'm just waiting on my 10-20 trays from Bootstrap Farmer so that I can finish planting the next round of things, which is still quite a few of the things. I also need to get some cow compost out, manure compost out to the garden. I need my husband to go pick up another dump truck load and get that tilled into my garden, and then get the hiller attached to my tractor and make my rows, because it's getting really close to planting time. Like 2 weeks, I'm at planting time, which is so crazy that we're already 2 weeks from planting time. Like, my tomatoes will go in the ground probably in 2 weeks. My broccoli will go in the ground in like 2 weeks. What else is going to go in the ground? My onion sets are going to go into the ground. I've got a lot of things that are going to be going into the ground. Marigolds right out of the gate are going to be going into the ground that I've been growing. And hopefully in 2 weeks, some of the other plants are ready to go into the ground as well. So I need to get past our first frost, or final frost of the season, I should say, which is early April. So we're right about time where I'm going to be like direct sowing into the ground and then transplanting everything that I've been growing and then figuring out like, do I keep seed starting things inside and then transplanting them out? Like, I don't know. This is my first foray into all of this. And so we shall see. What I've been reading, oh my gosh, I've been so bad at reading lately. And I love to listen to books, but I also like to tangibly read a book. And so I am still reading the one that I am tangibly reading, which is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I actually did not finish listening to The Wedding People, and it went back to the next person in line, which is fine. I put another hold back on it. So eventually I'll get it and I'll find some inspiration to continue to listen through. But I did just knock out H is for Homicide by Sue Grafton. I actually did that one basically in a day. And I just started The Huntress by Kate Quinn. I absolutely love Kate Quinn. She does historical fiction really, really, really well. If you haven't read her, The Diamond Eye is a really good foray into what she does. That is imprinted in my brain. If you've not read The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn, oh my gosh, so good. And based on a true story, which is even more like impressive. So that is my current reading synopsis. And then I had another brand pitch for the House of Sugar Creek, and I pitched back, so we shall see. And then, man, let's say I was doing my editing for my YouTube video last night, and I realized, so I am publishing content that is several months old. So the video that I was working on was actually filmed at the end of November. So I'm just almost into December content. And I realized that my sunglasses were reflecting one of our work trucks and that URL and the phone number. And I'm really weird about privacy, even though like I will randomly talk about things here or there, but like I just didn't sit well with me. And so I was trying to figure out, is there an AI video editor that can like remove a reflection from sunglasses? And because I don't have experience with any of the other video editors out there, like the fancy things that you pay good money for. And I tried several different options. Like I spent some money and then requested money back once I realized that it couldn't do what it claimed to do out in the Google world. And it's just super frustrating. And then I went ahead and scheduled it. And thankfully, well, I got up early because I had a better solution once I woke up. Because it just gnawed at me all night long. Like it was something that bothered me so badly that I didn't sleep good over a freaking YouTube video. So my solution was you can blur things out in iMovie, but you have to do it frame by frame. And this particular part of my video was 7 minutes long of me doing a talking head portion. And I was like, there's no way this will take me all night long to try and move this one thing in this one lens of my sunglasses for 7 minutes. Like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And I'm sure there is, but like you can't hire somebody on Fiverr really quickly to do something for you really quickly. Like it just doesn't work that way. And I was dead set on getting this one next in line and yada, yada, yada. So I woke up and my solution was I had some time-lapse video, but the time-lapse obviously is shrunk down into the period of time that you are recording. And usually it can pull it down into like 30 seconds. And so I was already going to be showing though 2 different time lapses at the end of the video. So I decided, which is terrible video editing on my part, but I didn't have a better solution. This was my better solution. I didn't have another solution. And so I overlaid those time lapses and then slowed them back down to extend their time. So it does look a little choppy, but I'm hoping people focus more on the words that I'm saying versus the choppiness of the video. But also with that, it was so windy that day. And I remembered it being windy, but I didn't remember how much that wind picked up. And so like also trying to find a way to reduce the wind noise. I think I have a solution for that now, but that didn't help me back in November. I actually just bought it's from DJI, and it's a little portable microphone. They have windscreens on them. It came with a 2-pack, and it came with 4 different windscreens. And so I have been putting that to use, and you plug it into your phone, and you can also plug it into your camera. So I do intend to start some interviews coming up probably in the next 3 or 4 months. And I need a setup in my studio at Sugar Creek at the warehouse. And this could be an option. I'm going to give it a try. I'm using it for my short form content and my vlogging channel for YouTube. And so I'm going to see if it's an option for podcasting. So I've already tested it out. I filmed a video earlier today regarding gardening that will eventually land on my YouTube channel. And I think I have one gardening video that I need to slot in before I can like jump to this one. But I think I want to hear the audio, so it may be something I go ahead and edit and just hold for future, just so that I can hear what my sound sounds like, and to see if this is a viable option for podcasting in the studio versus getting additional microphones, because I needed this anyway, especially because I am recording outside a lot and I need something to capture that wind. And I don't always carry around my vlog camera, which is a Sony camera specifically that I bought for vlogging. It's a little bit bulky, even though it's tiny, it's a little bit bulky to carry around, and I'm in the dirt, and it's not clean out there. So my phone's got a case on it, and this, like I said, this plugs right into the phone that takes over the microphone port, and then it has a decent range from where your camera is to where you are. It can record 48 hours continuously without charge, and I think it's 10 hours. The battery lasts 48 hours, but 10 hours of continuous filming or recording audio, which I'm never going to be putting it to the test. Like, my audio maximum would be like 20-30 minutes, and maybe an hour if it turns out that it would actually work for podcasting. So I'm never going to get close to that 10-hour mark. So anyways, we'll see. And hopefully it will do well. Like I said, I haven't edited the video I recorded earlier today, but TBD on that. So let's first go over stats, and then we're going to talk about trial reels. So let me just flip my little page over here. Okay, so last week I talked about going viral and making the internet mad with a rechargeable light bulb. So I just want to talk about the stats. So I started actually following my stats on January 27th. Today, as of this recording, this is February 24th. So I'm going to compare when I started paying attention to now, but also remind you where I was last week. So for YouTube, on January 27th, I started at 234 subscribers. Last week, I was at 266. I am now at 280. So from when I started paying attention, 234 to 280, that is almost a 20% increase, and we're not at a full 30 days yet. So almost a 20% growth increase between January 27th and now. So between last week and now, 266 to 280, that is a little over 5% increase. So I'm doing good on the YouTubes. For TikTok, what I started counting 139 followers to now I have 395 followers. That is a 184% increase from when I started counting to today. And it's that viral TikTok that pushed me into that growth. Now, from last week to this week, so last week I was at 324, this week I'm at 395. It's still a 22% increase in growth. So 184 overall from when I started counting to now, and 22% growth from last week to this week. So TikTok for sure has the most growth happening right now from when I started counting to today. Instagram, 3470 was January 27th. Last week I was at 3476. I'm at 3483. So from then to now, it is only a 0.37%. Like I don't even have 1% growth on Instagram. And between last week and this week, it's 0.2%. Like still not even 1% growth. So you have to fight so incredibly hard to gain traction on Instagram. And you really kind of need to go viral in order to shake up the algorithm, which is kind of where I want and why I want to talk about trial reels. So if you haven't heard about trial reels, that's what I'm going to talk about. And I am saying that even though I have 0.37% from when I started following the numbers to today, 0.2% in a week. And the difference is two things. Last week, I was testing out 2 pieces of content a day for short form content. I was doing other things in stories and putting posts out in various places, but across all 3 platforms, I bumped it up to 2 pieces of content per day. And I did that, I think, for 5 straight days. And I was like, I'm not seeing enough, like per video views, followers, etc., for me to continue doing that. It is a lot of work to produce 2 pieces of content like that a day. It's a lot of work to do 1, but 2 is challenging. But the other thing I did is I started using trial reels. Now, I went on the hunt. So I first started seeing trial reels, like people talking about them. There was this one girl that kept popping up in my reels feed. And anytime I saw her, like I would follow her prompt and get her little DM, and then I would go, and she was charging for her information about trial reels, even though trial reels just came out in like December, maybe a little bit before that. So she was legitimately not giving you any information, wanted you to pay $100 to gain access to what she had to say. And since it's still so new, like finding people talking about trial reels, there's just not a whole lot of people talking about them, like kind of really the nitty gritty. And even like doing the research. Now, I have found a really good article. It's from Buffer on their blog. I'm going to, like everything I'm going to talk about, because I was learning as I was reading this. So I'm just sharing the love of what I learned through Buffer, through the podcast, or I'm sharing it with you. We're going to both learn together. But I became a part of Good Influencer, which is created, like the people that created Good Influencer is Chris and Julia from Chris Loves Julia. They are interior influencers. So they have this, and what I had been on the hunt for as a lifestyle influencer, as a just like, I'm in the garden space now, but like lifestyle influencer as a whole, that's what I've always been. And I was tired of seeing things in my Reels feed talking about selling, you know, how to make money online or being a digital marketer. Like that is literally hardcore what's in my feed. And not really, but like, because now I'm like in the things of gardens and homesteading and all of that, but I still see these pop up and it's exhausting. But nobody's really out there teaching you how to get good at being like a lifestyle influencer or an interiors influencer or a fashion influencer. Nobody's really teaching you how to effectively do that. And Good Influencer is, which I appreciate, because my foray, like where I'm at now with the House of Sugar Creek, that is what I want to do. Will I have products in the future? Maybe. But like I am really wanting to up my affiliate revenue game and up my brand sponsorships and partnerships and collaborations. That's what I want. And I want somebody that's been in the trenches for a while that can help me like put that hat back on. I wore that hat 5 years ago. I don't know why I ever hung it up, but I did. And I honestly, I was probably just burnt out and something had to give, and that was what gave. I so thoroughly enjoyed doing that kind of content and being in that place. Like I really enjoyed. I was like in my prime doing cocktails and I had a book club. Like I was just in my element, and I am trying to make my way back there, which is the whole reason why I keep talking about stats. If you're sitting here listening to me right now, you definitely want to consider consistently posting short form content. Like my numbers are speaking for themselves. This is daily posting one piece of short form content a day, and the numbers are speaking for themselves. So trial reels, how did I get introduced? I just told you kind of the backstory, but in this Good Influencer Mastermind group that I'm in now, somebody mentioned it. I think the people behind Good Influencer mentioned it. And I was like, oh, maybe I can finally learn about trial reels without having to spend $100, because who knows what this girl's teaching. So that led me down the rabbit hole of being like, okay, well, I can try trial reels on my own, right? Like, let's see what this is about. So I want to talk to you about how I am using it. Then I'm going to go through the Buffer article and talk to you about how they perceive using it and how they have tested it. And then you make a decision on how you want to use trial reels. So first and foremost, trial reels are a way for you to test content to non-followers. I mean, like right out of the gate, doesn't that sound amazing? Like I could potentially reach non-followers with my content. Oh my gosh. Like that sounds like a no-brainer. So what I have been doing, and this is just one strategy and this is what I've been testing, but I can tell you this is why I have a better number between last week and this week in my stats. Okay, I create my reel, right? And then I get it all the way I want it, all the hashtags, I get my cover photo set how I want it. I hit draft, save to draft. Once I'm in the drafts, I click the 3 dots and I duplicate it. Now I have 2 versions. Now you can do a 3rd version if you want. So you always have that reel sitting in your drafts, but then you'll eventually start getting messages from Instagram, free up your draft folder. Anyways, so I duplicate it once and then I go back to the original and I publish it like normal to my feed. And then I go back to drafts and I pull the second one out and I set it to trial only. And I basically disengage it from going to my profile, and I disengage the option to send it to Facebook, because everything that I do on Instagram, I just auto-publish to Facebook. So I basically say, don't send this out to my followers and don't send this to Facebook. Just be a trial reel only. So I am sending both of them out, one to non-followers and one to my feed of supposed followers, right? So Instagram is saying that I don't have like a percentage because they're not willing to share a percentage, but there is still a slim possibility one of your followers will catch your trial reel through a trending audio or somebody sharing it in a DM with them, but like minutia. So I wouldn't even get hung up on that. That is my personal philosophy, strategy with trial reels. Now I'm going to open the door with what else you can do. And if you're super nerdy like me, although I don't know that I will be this nerdy, but I appreciate Buffer like doing all of this research because we're going to learn together. I learned as I was reading this and I was like, wow, okay, this totally makes sense. So this is on the Buffer blog. I will link it in the show notes for episode 507. Kirsty Lang is the senior content writer for this particular blog post. So These are her notes, okay? I cannot and will not take any credit for anything we are about to learn together. So trial reels are a content testing ground. So this is a place where you can test your hooks, your music, your editing style, the subject matter, your frequency, etc. So just think of it as a big playground of content testing and tuning. It allows you to bypass the entire connected ranking system, which is the algorithm that serves your content to your followers. So it completely bypasses that. You do have to have a professional account. A professional account just means you have a selected creator account or business account. This does not work with just regular Instagram accounts. You have to have a professional account to gain access to trial reels. I honestly do not know if trial reels have been rolled out to every human that has a creator or business account. I have access to it on my account, but I haven't looked at Boss Girl to see if that account has it, and I haven't looked at Sugar Creek to see if that account has it, because I'm not doing trial reels on either of those accounts. We're just creating content. And even with Boss Girl, like I haven't been creating content because I've been creating content daily for Taylor L. Bradford. I can only do so much. Okay, so here is what you need to think about with trial reels according to Kirsty. Have a clear question you want an answer to. So she did an experiment where she created 3 versions of exactly the same video, and it was identical all the way down to the hashtags, and the only difference was her audio. So she did a reel with a voiceover, she did a reel with ASMR background sounds, and a reel with trending audio. So the audio portions of all 3 reels were different, but everything else was the same. She expected the voiceover to win, but it didn't. The trending audio racked up the most views out of all 3 videos that she made, but it tied for average watch time with the voiceover. So the one with trending audio blew out the other 2 out of the water when it came down to most views, but it tied in length or average watch time with the one with the voiceover. So that is very, very fascinating. Okay, so she basically is saying you have to have a clear question that you want an answer to. That's the whole purpose of trial reels, or one of them. The other thing she wants you to be aware of is you've got to eliminate the variables. So you want to make sure when you're A/B testing or ABC testing, however you want to do this, you want to make sure that every variable is the same except for the one thing you're testing. So the description has to match. The tagged location has to match. The way the, cover image is selected, everything has to match. Like the variables that you are not testing have to be identical so that the one thing you are testing is what you can focus on and see what does, where. Number 3, manage your expectations. So on the results that you're going to see through trial reels. Trial reels are not the same thing as normal reels. They're going to take at minimum 24 hours for you to see any kind of solid numbers. So trial reels are not meant to be compared to regular reels. The metrics like views and likes aren't always best measures of success with trial reels. So here, this is directly from Instagram on waiting at least 24 hours after publishing a trial reel. We're finding non-followers who we think will be interested in your new content, so it might take more time to get views, likes, shares than your regular reels going out to your follower feed. So Buffer is suggesting 10 things for you to think about when it comes to creating trial reels. Number 1, what is the best time of day for me to post to reach new followers? So that would be testing the same reel shared at various times, but waiting 24 hours in between posting them. Like, let's say you want to send it out at 10 a.m. You want to try that time frame, 10 a.m. You need to wait another 24 hours after you post it at 10 a.m. before you pick another time in the day to post again. So you need to give yourself 24 hours if you are testing the variable of best time of day. Number 2, what kind of hook will work best? And this is you testing the same video with different intros, aka different hooks. Number 3, what visual hooks have an impact? Number 4, does trending audio really matter in my niche? Number 5, which caption style works best? Number 6, what is the sweet spot for reel length? Number 7, do on-screen captions impact retention? Number 8, which CTA style works best? That's a call to action. Which one works best? Number 9, what editing style catches attention? Number 10, does showing your face impact reach? So those are 10 different things that you could trial through Instagram's trial reels. Now, like I said, you could get so incredibly nerdy trying to figure these things out. But here's the thing at the end of the day. This is what, I was like, wow, that's a lot of research. And compelling as it is, and take this with a grain of salt, however you want to take this, what's about to come out my mouth, take this with a grain of salt. If the goal is to find new people, not necessarily to go viral on trial reels, because is that virility? Does that actually help you find your ideal people? It could, depending on the type of reel that goes viral. But at the end of the day, if this gives you an opportunity to get your content in front of new eyeballs, aka non-followers, then why would you not be trying the same piece of content that you're serving up to your followers, to non-followers? Without having, and please believe me, I think this stuff is relevant. I think it has a place, but I don't want you to get caught up in trying to figure out what hits the mark, because is it always going to hit the mark? If you were to solve, and this is my example, this is what I'm getting at. If you were to solve what kind of hook will work best, is that same hook going to always work best? So if you just spent a week testing hooks, how is that helping you? How is that helping you? What I want you to think about is the content that you are creating ultimately serving the human that you want to follow you? Are you helping them in some way? Are you educating them? Are you entertaining them? Are you giving them delight, happiness, joy? Our content has to be educational or entertaining or informative. It's got to be one of those things. It is literally the only way we can capture new people is by one of those means, right? So if you know what your umbrella is and you know what your buckets are, and as long as it's entertaining, educational, or informative, you're on the right track. Do I think you need to get hung up in testing and tuning these variables over in trial reels just to prove something to yourself? I don't. And I say that because getting a follower on Instagram is like pulling teeth. It is like nails down a chalkboard. It is so incredibly hard. We fight tooth and nail to get a follower on Instagram. So should we be working this hard to crack an egg none of us can actually crack? No. But if it gives you an opportunity to get your content in front of people that you haven't been accessing yet, I'm going to encourage you to double up. I'm going to encourage you to duplicate and send it out and see what happens. I will be testing this over the next week without posting 2 times a day, just to remove that variable out of the equation and see what happens. Because if it allows you to get in front of humans that you can't get in front of right now without going viral because you have a trending audio or you make the internet mad, Me making the internet mad over on TikTok did not help outside of, yes, it gave me more followers, but those people have not been engaging in my latest content, and which is, it is what it is, but it is getting me closer to unlocking a level on TikTok that I need to unlock. So yes, you need to go viral, or you hope to go viral. We all really do hope to go viral because it does unlock things for us. But at the end of the day, your content still needs to fit into your buckets. So you've got your umbrella, you've got your buckets, and then you're producing entertaining, educating, or informative content that aligns with those buckets. So let's just not make it hard. Instagram is already hard. You heard my numbers for YouTube. You heard my numbers for TikTok. My numbers on Instagram are just going at a snail's pace. And that's what I experienced last year when I was doing all of that testing. Still, it was going at a snail's pace. It didn't matter what I was doing. And I had brand new accounts. Shoot, I was doing 2 of them. So, okay, that was a lot. Yes, that was a lot. But I feel like this is another opportunity to not miss out on. So get to creating, for sure, get to, duplicating and sharing over to, the Instagram trial functionality. And if you have questions, let me know. Slide into my DMs or email me. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Let's go.
And like my 3-year-old self said, that is all for this week. Friendly reminder to rate and review my show wherever you are listening. And last but not least, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me an audio message at bossgirlcreative.com/speak. I would love to hear your takeaways, ideas for upcoming episode topics, and your feedback. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this one.